Hail to the king, baby. It's time for another fountain pen shootout. And today we're going to have a look at two pens that I think make for an excellent shootout. The shootout has been made possible by De Roos in Heemstede. Bear in mind, on my website is a banner. If you click it for De Roos, you'll be taken to a special page where you get a very nice discount. Just so you know. Okay, why is this shootout interesting? I think it's interesting because it involves one of my absolutely favorite pens of all time, the classic pens LB5, and the Sailor King of Pen Ebonite. Okay, this is interesting because the King of Pen was the basis for the LB5, and obviously you can tell by looking at them. Alright, so a very quick overview of both pens. I have reviewed a King of Pen quite a while ago, but if you go to my website sbrebrown.com, you'll find an index and it's going to be there. And the LB5 I've reviewed as well. These are not cheap pens, these are expensive pens, but I thought that's actually even more interesting to do a shootout, because if you are considering purchasing either, you may want to know the pros and cons of both. Let's start with the regular King of Pen. So as I said, I've reviewed it, so I mean I don't think I necessarily want to show every part of this here. The Ebonite model, there is also a Pro Gear King of Pen which has a flat top. This is the Ebonite model, and I think this has a lot going for it. It's a larger pen. This is Montblanc 149 sized, nice large nib, 21 karat in this case. A medium nib, but of course you can get it fine medium, you can get broads. And the body is made of ebonite. Ebonite, very interesting material, very smooth, doesn't feel like plastic, it's a hard rubber, it's a unique feel. If you've never held one, hard to explain, but it's different. Okay, I'm going to very, very carefully post this because I don't want to scratch it because it's on loan, but it does post, and it's a nice, as you can see, big pen. And even when you don't post it, it's large. Cartridge converter pen, that's one of the, I would say, often quoted downsides, especially because the converters that Sailor uses really don't hold a lot of ink, so you run out fairly quickly, especially if you have a very broad nib. Having said that, I think it's very nice. These pens, I think the list price, I'm sorry, I'm just going to do euros here because I don't have it from the top of my head in dollars, but I think it's about 1,000 euros, and then the street price is a bit lower, $8.99, $8.50, something like that. And I'm convinced if you look around on eBay, you can find them in Japan, you can find them a lot cheaper. But not a cheap pen. Of course, the King of Pen is Sailor's flagship model. So just like with the 149 from Montblanc, just like with the M1000 for Pelican, they're expensive pens, and that's the way it is. The classic pen's LB5 is based on that King of Pen. The big difference is that it's about ½ centimeter longer, which you can see there. Okay, the LB5 you can get in 3 nib types, whereas this is fine, medium, broad. These you can get in medium, broad, or a Nagahara cross point, which is what I have. It's a specialty nib. It's a nib that gives a super wide line. That's going to make the writing sample of these two not entirely fair because they're very different nibs, but that's what I have, and that's what we're going to do. The material is different. Clearly this is not ebonite. This is what they call diffusion bonded acrylic, supposed to be a bulletproof acrylic, and I absolutely love it. It's a bit of sun right there, so if you hold this up to the light, that is a stellar material. They come in a couple of colors, they're highly limited, there's only I think 50 of each, if I'm not mistaken, yes, 50 of each. So this red one, the Cayenne, hard to find already, but you know, it's the way it is. That's what you get with a limited pen. So there's that length difference, and the sections of these pens are exactly the same and are therefore interchangeable. So as you can see, they're exactly the same. You can take one out, put it on the other. That's no problem. I love the LB5. The reason I love it is that it is just a bit longer, and that is just, I know half a centimeter doesn't sound like it's a lot, it's only 5 millimeters, but it's just that extra length, and I think that extra length perfects the pen. So I see that this, to me it works, and I see how it appeals to people. Beautiful, beautiful pen. And if you want to, you can post it for a mammoth pen. Okay, I like them both. I think they're both great. Expensive, very expensive. I didn't get this all new and etc. But the list price of an LB5 with a Nagahara cross point is $18.50 US. That's a lot of money. So this is not a light purchase for most people, I think, including myself. But you do get a lot, I think, because the material is really, really nice, and you get them in a whole bunch of colors, so you can always pick. If you don't like red, there's a white one, green, purple, brown, etc. So you have quite some options. We're going to see how these two pens write. The question, of course, is which is the better pen? Well, they're very similar pens, and the nibs, to a large extent, provided that you don't get the specialty nib, if you just get a medium or broad, they're $1,500. So they are more expensive, but you get the same nibs as you would in the King of Pen. I think with the LB5s you get a more spectacular material. And there are ebonite lovers out there who love this kind of finish. No problem with that. The only issue with this is you can't leave this in UV light for too long because it may discolor. Also with ebonite you have to be careful with water, because water can also really pale the pen, make it a lot less shiny, gets more matte, gets more whitish. So you have to be a bit careful. Of course, the section is not actually ebonite, so inking it, dipping it, cleaning it shouldn't really be an issue, but you have to be a bit careful. And this material is supposed to be more robust to that. You also pay more. For me, I would pick this any day of the week, but this is a very, very nice pen too. So if you are on the market for a larger pen, you have quite a quite a bit of money to spend. Both very nice options. Let's see how they work. A very kind thank you to Alexander from De Roos for lending me this pen. I appreciate it. I know it's expensive, so I really appreciate the confidence, trust, etc. It's coming back to you right now. That's all there's to it. Let's see how they write. Hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye. Okay, so here we go with these two pens. Of course, not an entirely fair comparison when it comes to nibs, because one is a stock nib, the other is a specialty nib, but even so, I think it will be interesting to see. Let's start with the regular King of Pen. Here we have the Sailor King of Pen. Fine nib.
Medium.
Oh, medium nib, sorry. Writes more like a, well, good fine. This is not one of the ultra skinny mediums, I would say. And I find it very pleasant. There's a little bit of feedback, but it's a nice feedback. It's not at all scratchy. So nice, well tuned, flows very, very nicely. Line variation, definitely some to be had. I like it. I think it's very, very pleasant. Okay, now the sections, of course, on this and the LB5 are identical, are also exchangeable. You can put one nib on the other pen. It's just the length that you really see that's a bit different in the LB5. So it's just a little bit longer. But that's the only difference though. So of course it's a different material, but both are quite light, so I don't really feel a difference there. Let's put this next to the other one. Now this is a cross point, so that's a lot broader. And this nib is perfection. So smooth. Also, this never has any hard starts or anything. And it's pretty much a marker. Super wide, super broad. Very wet. Nice line variation. Absolutely love it. So both pens are very interesting. Both are comparable models. Both are not cheap. I like both of them. I think the Urushi model is the Ebonite model is very understated, very elegant, very simple. I love the LB5 though, and I think that half centimeter extra length just perfects it. So there you have it. Thanks kindly to De Roos for lending me this pen. I appreciate it. I will send it back to you. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later.